I've known Bob for about, what do you think? It's been at least 15 years, hasn't it?
10 or 15, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. We both he still lives in Redondo Beach. I used to live there also, and we were members of the Redondo Beach Art Group. And Bob was really instrumental in that. And I don't know if it's still going on or not, but even after even after I left, he got really involved in the group, and he makes some absolutely gorgeous photographs, which are actually scanned photos, scanned photos of flowers. And you do those on a flatbed scanner, Bob?
It's true.
Yeah. And then he spends, after he makes one of the flowers, he spends 1.5 years trying to get the pollen dust off of the and his prints are very large, and they're just gorgeous. Anyway, we've been friends all these years, and I'm happy that he could do this for us this evening. So that's the brief intro.
Yeah, and I think I sent my bio over.
The in-depth bio now.
Yeah. Say again?
The in-depth bio. Anything more?
I don't have the bio in front of me, so.
I could just briefly run through what I've been doing for the last 50 years.
If you would.
If you got the time. I was an art director for my career. I went to the Art Center, College of Design, got out of there in '76. I went right into the advertising business as an art director and designer. And so what I did as an art director, if you know or not, is basically you're the art guy, then you work with a writer. And then when you're doing design work, graphic design, brochures, catalogs, things like that, you're the guy that makes the decisions about what goes in there visually. And most of the time it was photography. Sometimes it was illustration, which was fun too. So I had as a career, and then I was always working with photographers, all professional photographers, and the best ones I could find. And I had an interest in photography myself anyway, ever since school, when I took my first formal photography classes. And so I just picked up a lot of stuff from these people. It was great. And we enjoyed the hell out of it. I shot with some of the best in the business. I mean, literally. Peggy Sirota, what are some of the other names? I can't even think of them now. But it was great, and it was fun. And so the whole time was, though, I was judging photography and looking at it and trying to make it better. One of the things I always tried to do when I was working with a photographer is, okay, well, we got to get the product shot right, but how can we shoot it so that it transcends just another product shot? So the most fun I had was when I started working in automotive, and I was doing as a senior creative director, I was running the Honda business for 16 years. Up until 2000 when I left. And we were doing, and basically the deal there was shoot that car so it looks like $1 million. And you put it in places, you know, conceptually. And so you're working with natural light. We used artificial light on sound stages. So that was all, you know, it's all part of my background. And then another job I had, which was great, client was California, state of California Office of Tourism. And we did a big campaign for a couple of years at the agency that I worked at. And so I was supposed to do a brochure about California. So, I mean, one of the most gorgeous states around. So I went out and found like 10 of the best natural photographers I could find, and then went through their stuff. And we used that in some of the brochures and some of the work we did for California. So that was what I did. So I was like,
right. Sounds like excellent experience and career.
Yeah, it's fabulous. It was great. Yeah, yeah. And so now, in my certain age and a certain time in my life, I decided to really dive into it deep. And like Jim mentioned, I started doing this scanography. Besides, I shoot other stuff too. I mean, but this one thing that I do specifically for fine art, which has been reasonably successful, is scanography. And that's just putting your subject, whatever it is, literally on the scanner, take the top off the scanner, put that puppy down, and scan it at 4,800 DPI. And you'd be amazed what you get. There's a fun thing that happens where the light falls off very naturally, as does the focus. And so that which is closer to the glass is sharper and brighter, and that which isn't is darker and softer. And this was something that they learned back in the old Flemish masters. And that's how that painting that they did was very, very powerful, because when they do a portrait, so the guy's eyes, maybe his big jewelry here and the ruffle around his neck was just sharp, tack sharp, brilliant and bright. But his shoulders, the background, everything else kind of goes dark and soft. So it has a real 3D effect, especially in photography. So that's just part of it. But yeah, so that's me. That's me.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have, Alan's not here. Cheryl, do we have any business to discuss before we start judging?
I don't have any business to discuss.
Anything about field trips?
Let's go to Hawaii.
Penny, you want to just, there's two opportunities for Saturday, the Saturday chat, which is at Francisco's Kitchen,
Yep.
or going to Rosie's designated Sunnyside Acres. Is that it? Where we're going?
Sunny Acres.
Sunny Acres, to photograph old things. So that's coming up. And Penny, anything else?
I forgot to check about our June field trip to the Piedras Blancas light station that required tickets. So I'll send out an email later after the meeting to let people know if there's tickets available and to jump on that.
Okay.
And that's the 19th, right? June 19th.
I think so. Father's Day weekend.
I entered the website and I booked the ticket.
Oh, so you got a ticket already?
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
did. I did too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's get a crowd there.
Okay.
Let me say one thing about the Saturday, the fourth Saturday breakfast. I scheduled that, and I had forgotten completely about the field trip. So there's a conflict on that day, but a number of people indicated they want to go to the breakfast, so we'll still do that.
Yeah. Good.
Well, I personally wanted to see those 3,500-year-old photographs, Jim.
From
But
the camera obscura photographs from the Phoenicians. You're gonna miss a lot. They're a little waterlogged because they were in a boat.
I was going to introduce Henry Fox Talbot, but they wouldn't let him in the country.
Yeah.
He's only 220 years old, so.
well, let's move on to our competition.
Okay, we're going to start with color first. Who is going to be the scorekeeper?
Well, that's okay.
What do you want, Penny? Probably because I have my delay. Let me do the monochrome.
Okay.
What are we doing? Monochrome or color?
We're going to start with color.
All right.
You'll know.
Elaine is going to be our scorekeeper.
Elaine, raise your hand.
There she is.
And
next
like I
to-
said, I will step through all the images one quick pass. And then we'll go back and allow you to do your comments.
Okay.
And
You,
here
you've
we
got
go.
you've got something on the screen. Oh, wait a minute. me. That's me. Never mind.
Okay.
Oh, okay, let me see.
Move your cursor.
Oops.
The cursor, yeah.
Oh, come on. There we go.
Dun, dun, dun.
Okay, this is our first image. It's
This is-
ballpark.
This is a day at the Canyonlands.
Bob, it's up to you.
Is he hung up? Oh, no, he's moving. Can you hear us, Bob?
Bob?
Bob, can you hear us?
Put something in the chat, maybe.
Let me stop sharing and check. Bob, you're muted. Okay, he unmuted. All right, let me start to share again.
I've somehow lost audio.
No, you're back on. We can hear you now. Can you hear us? No, now he's off.
Oh,
So stop sharing, Greg, and see, maybe we.
yeah, they just told me that WebEx service is not responding.
Oh, great. I think Greg must be restarting.
Okay, am I back?
I can hear you.
We can hear you, but
We don't.
We don't see you.
It says Santa Maria Club is starting to share content.
Who is our co-host? There's a co-host.
Yeah, I can't see anybody.
Can't see anyone?
Well,
There's only a few people.
There's,
Santa Maria Camera Club is Santa Maria Camera Club is on there twice, Greg, as
Yeah.
participants.
Okay, let me, it says I'm the co-host now. Let me see if I
Right.
can remove
Okay.
the original. For some reason, I'm in there twice now.
And Bob, it sounds like he can't hear. He's showing us with his hands. He can't hear anything.
send him a message, Jim, on the chat.
But I don't have his phone number. Oh, on
No.
the chat. I'm sorry, on the chat. Let me do that.
Technical problems.
No audio either. I think it was talking, but couldn't hear anything.
it's odd that it's just his audio that we can't hear.
Maybe we need to start all over again.
Hey, Bob, are you back?
Yeah, he's muted.
Tony, did you happen to get Bob's phone number?
Uh,
I'm not hearing anybody.
Oh, there you are. Can you
Now
hear?
can you hear us now?
We hear
Evidently.
you.
We can hear you, Bob. Or we could, you keep getting muted.
If
uh,
Tony, if you've got his phone number, which I don't.
yeah, let me see. Let me see.
Well, can you hear me? Somebody give me a thumbs up.
Yay.
Okay.
Can you
I
hear
can't hear
us?
you at all. So
You can't hear us now?
is that the way you want it?
no, I don't have his phone number here.
We couldn't, yeah, we can't hear you. I mean, we can hear you. We can now. Yeah.
I do love these Zoom meetings.
Yeah. Well, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yeah, where do you have any questions or comments? I wouldn't hear anything. Not sure what's going on. I'm not familiar enough with WebEx to know.
Everybody else doesn't need to come.
But I'm not hearing any of you guys.
Can you hear me, Bob? It's Cheryl. Bob, can you hear me?
He's not hearing any of us, I don't think.
I get it.
Anybody have any cue cards?
Brilliant.
Where's our hosts? One of the hosts.
I sent him a text message. I don't know if he's looking at him.
Well, if you send him a text message, you've got his phone number, right?
No, I'm chat. I mean chat.
Oh, you're in chat. Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know if he's watching the chat screen.
Bob, if you can hear this, look in the chat section. There's a message sent to you.
How about if we could type something in Word and then share a screen so we could read it. We can put.
Yeah, maybe you can hold up.
Bob, can you hear us now?
You can't see it though.
Yeah, you can't see anything.
I got it written there somehow. It's
Yeah,
not.
but we can't see it. So
I know.
There's a flashlight come back on.
Was Bob able to hear us in the beginning? What's happened?
Weird.
Yes. I have no idea why he got dropped.
Well, we should have him.
Your
we should
phone
have
number
him-
is
Some-
310
Have him reconnect.
318
Yeah, if he could leave and
3058.
Have
Did
him,
you,
have him
Somebody-
wait to come back.
did you get his phone number?
And in whatever room he's in, and then when he came back, he was muted.
Let me see if I can dial his phone number.
can you guys see that?
yes.
Yes.
Did I do something? Oh. Oh, there we are. Well, I think it was on me, you guys. I think it was my.
Can you hear us now?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah. I just thought I'd check and see if you guys were paying attention.
Why don't you give us your
Yeah, I
phone
was
number in case anything else happens?
Yeah, I was worried. Yeah, that was all my bad.
Well,
Anyways.
we're in the process of sharing somebody's screen.
Can you, that's my screen.
All right, can you
Take it
unshare,
off.
please?
Yeah, I'm trying to find the button to
It's up in
unshare.
the, it's up in the upper, it's, move your cursor to the top center, and you should see a little bubble that comes out.
Okay, it
Yeah, there
came.
you go.
All right, let's see if we can start again.
Hey,
Fingers crossed.
yeah, I was worried you were hearing my jazz play too loud or something, so I turned it off, and guess what I did? Okay.
But can I ask a question here before we start? Because we were trying to get your phone number. So in case anything happens, could you put your phone number in chat?
Sure.
There you go.
The title of this is A Day at the Canyonlands.
There it is. Okay. I just hit return. Should get
There
there.
we go. Thank you.
Yes, you bet. Okay.
Yeah.
Are we ready?
Yes.
Okay. Again, sorry. Canyonland. Okay, I gave this, I kind of, like I said before, I look at 4s as being sort of like competent, expected, you know. Anything less than that, I think there's a problem with the photograph. Something more than that, I think there's added value to the image in technique and impact, whatnot. This one, I kind of went 4s right across. I believe it's you know, obviously competently shot. Kind of a hazy day. Probably not the best time of day to shoot something that way. You know, while the people are too small to make it like a street shooter shot, like there's some innate interest in these people. So it does look like something you grabbed and somebody else might say, gee, I wish there weren't any people in it. So not sure. Again, time of day, I hope that the photographer stayed a little later, and then after the people cleared out, they got an amazing shot later in the day. Or this could be morning, of course, I have no idea which way they were pointed. There's one other thing in here, and I noticed this on a number of pieces. This is not horizontal. It's just slightly off. And I think it's, unless you really are meaning to Dutch the camera, as they say, it's sort of like sticks with you, and you kind of go, you know, just a little off. And then what tells me that is that the stacks on the left are just kind of leaning a little bit to the left. Again, it's a technical issue, but that's what you guys asked about. So that's sort of my feeling on this image.
So total score of 12?
12, yeah.
Yeah, it's 444. Okay. You want me just to move at my speed, or you guys want to?
Next image?
That's good. That's good. This is Anna's hummingbird.
Okay. Now we don't know if, oops. Yeah, there it is. Okay. I don't know if Anna's the photographer, Anna's the hummingbird variety, but good catch. Very bright sun, you know, probably shot it pretty damn fast. I like this, you know, so I gave it a 6 as far as technical prowess, because I know those little buggers are hard to shoot. The composition, I wish there was something else in there besides just this blurry sort of background thing. So from composition standpoint, I mean, yes, it's fine, and you got to catch them where you can. But I would hope that on a day when you're shooting these little devils, that you try to move around and maybe get something compositionally that would be more interesting. The other thing, sorry, back to technique. I do feel that this is overexposed, not overexposed like blown out, but I think as I saw many of the pieces, and often when I look at photography, I think it's too bright. I think you'll get a sexier, better result if you just bring it down a half a stop, or maybe 2/3, or maybe even a full stop. This one, and I do that by when I was looking at these, I'm looking at them in Photoshop. Just it's the handiest thing to do. And every once in a while, I just hit the levels and I just go, "Geez, that would have been so much better with about a 2/3 less light in there." It would bring out the bird a lot more, and then makes that background even more interesting. So that's what I was thinking. But overall, I gave it a 15 because I thought it's a great shot of a hummingbird.
This is titled Deep Beak.
Okay, speaking of hummingbirds, now this I thought was certainly compositionally very interesting. And the technique was also good. However, I'm looking at it, I'm looking very bright light. I think we should have shot it at a faster shutter speed to get some of that wing in there. That would have been great. The wing is a little too soft, I'm thinking, especially when you have this much light. Now, sometimes you don't have a choice with these little guys. But now with and I'm not sure what kind of camera you're shooting it with, or but noise is not a big deal. So you could have been shooting this at 3200 ASA if you needed more. But it looks like you're in full bright sunlight. So I'm thinking you should have been shooting at 2000 or 4000. Could have, and then you do a rapid fire and you get that wing just where you want it. And that would have been spectacular, actually, really. And again, overexposed. I think it's too bright. I think it could come down easily. Good full stop, maybe. And so I gave it a 16 over.
Butterfly.
Butterfly. Could have sworn this was a moth, but I'll take your word for it. Butterfly. Yeah, cool. Great grab. The critter is phenomenally sharp and great detail there. Little hairs on the back of its head. I think there's really one thing that holds me back on this shot, and that's that leaf in the left side. It's got way too much interest going on there. Everything else about it, even the leaf it's sitting on, makes a lot of sense because you can see his little toes over the edges. But that leaf on the left side, it could have totally eliminated that either optically or moving one way or the other. And I know shots like this come and are gone in a second, maybe don't have that chance. But maybe in post, you could have softened that little edge down there, and then it would have just been all about the little guy. So, but I think this is a very good piece. It's 17, I gave it. So that's really the only reason that the first score is a 6 is just because that leaf. It's like way too interesting. Just sort of pulls me away from the little guy. So
Coastal Sunset.
absolutely. Beautiful shot. Love this shot. Great. Caught it on a really great time with the marine layer in there. This must be up by where you guys are. Yeah, I mean, what do you say? One of the things I look for in a shot like this, where we're layering, I love that in the foreground, what is the foreground, which is probably 500 yards away, but we've still got detail of that first ridge And that's beautiful. That just comes out sweetly. So this is an exquisitely done piece. Unfortunately, the only reason I gave it a 6 as far as impact and so on is that we've seen this a lot. This is a fabulous thing, but one of the things that I look for in a photograph, and that becomes a personal thing, just depending on your exposure to photography. But I feel that this is fairly set. We've seen these. David Munch shot a bunch of them over the years. So that would just it's, I think when you're doing something that's fairly commonly photographed, you got to just come in with a new edge. You got to come in with a new approach. And I don't know what that would be. It might be a different light, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. If that's a spot near where you live, I'd go out there every once in a while and just see what's going on atmospherically and so on. But it's beautiful. I mean, it's well done, and I believe that one is horizontal. Yes, it is. Okay.
Total score?
Total score, I gave that a 19. 766.
Lens Baby Rosebud.
Absolutely. Yeah, great. The Lens Baby is such a wacky thing, but you can get some great stuff with it. And then this is one of them. This is really a beauty. I bet this makes a gorgeous print. I gave it a 19. I don't know. Again, maybe there was a more unusual way to approach it, but you know, and I sort of look at the Lens Baby as a little bit of a trick, which I'm not particularly, but it is a real trick. It's not a Photoshop trick. So from that standpoint, it is a better trick than a Photoshop trick. So, but I like it. Very, very impressive. It's got a lot of fire in it. Very nice. I gave it 19.
19.
Yeah, 667. Okay, let me load up some more of these bad boys.
This is Mirror Lake, Yosemite.
Okay, get that up. Oops.
No, something is wrong.
Yeah, hang on, guys.
Okay.
Just pasting it on top of the other one. Okay. Yeah, I had this all worked out. No. Why did I screw that up? Okay. Okay, sorry. Technical issues. Let me just get these up. Okay. All right, so we're starting with Mirror Lake. Yeah, okay, Mirror Lake. What did I give that? It's I gave that a 444. You know, it's again competently shot. It also is crooked. It's not horizontal. And other thing, I'm not sure I'm understanding this, but a number of these pieces have these little frames on them. And I kind of give you a demerit for that. Because if you were to be selling prints of this, I don't know what your buyer would understand about that frame on there. So I'm just not sure. And I noticed that on a number of pieces, people framed them somehow. But anyway, so like, again, this is very competently shot, except for we should have checked the horizontal. And you're able to tell that, I don't know if you know this, but that big rock there over on the left sector, that's sort of the giveaway. You see that sort of vertical white stain on the rock? It's leaning to the left in the picture, and as is the reflection. And so what you want is a reflection that goes straight up and down. So if a tree's leaning to the left, it has to lean to the left the same amount in reverse in the water. And that way you can tell when you're on a still water like this one that you could do that. But anyway, so that's just something to check. Again, it sort of throws you off a little bit.
I'd like to just clarify something. Maybe we don't have it in the judging rules, but we don't generally ask you to judge on the framing or the lack of it.
Okay.
Like I know in other clubs they do, but in this one we don't.
Okay, well, that's fine. It wasn't a big demerit, but it was just something that I thought, I didn't understand it. Because we are judging images. So anyway, and I might have, on this one, it's kind of split right in the middle with the snowy bank, and I might have gone up or down with that. Just I know we're catching one of the peaks in the background, but anyway, but again, I find it, it's competent, but it's not extraordinary.
New York, New York.
Okay. I gave him a demerit here on the technique here, because the sky work is not done very well. One of the things that happens and I don't know whether this sky was dropped in later or it was just enhanced in Lightroom, where you say, okay, give me the blues and beef them up or whatever. But what you get if you're not careful is you get this halo around your edges. It's particularly obvious in the green building, the first building on the left there. If you go down that left side of that, you can see like this whitish border kind of around it, and it appears other places, particularly in the what is that ride?
Roller coaster.
Thank you, Jim. Mine's going quickly, but yeah, the roller coaster. If you look into that at 100%, which you told me, I didn't go any further, but at 100%, I can see that already. And so if that was a print on the wall, I'd really be seeing that. So you got to be careful with that stuff. I've often gone into a shot and said, yeah, I get the sky, I could really beef the sky. And then I go in there and then these damn artifacts show up, these edges and stuff. And I just think that's not right. But after that, it's an interesting thing. I thought it was, had an interesting crop on it, to give us the big sky. And put this down there, and I'm sure part of that was because the foreground was probably full of people that might have taken away from the image. But it is kind of wild. That's Vegas. That's what it is. So yeah. So for the cropping good, for the shot as an interest piece, it catches your eye for sure. Yep.
Did we give that a score?
we got a score of 13 on that.
Okay, thank you. Palms at sunrise.
Okay. I gave this a 3.53. 3 on the front end, the technique, because I believe our photographer wasn't that careful. There's some chromatic distortion in this piece, as well as there's possibly some artifacting around the palm tree. So when I go in there, I see you're aware of the edge instead of it just being palm bark and blue sky. There's something in the middle, right along the edge, and that's distracting to me. And it can come. Sometimes it comes with sharpening in camera, which is something none of us should ever do. But that was, sort of why I gave it a bit of a demerit. And overall, the light's a little flat anyway. I would say that the composition is, I might have filled the shot more with trees because I don't find a lot of point to the blue sky up there. And it's really about the trees. It's about symmetry of the trees and so on. So I brought that in at 5, but then the overall feeling again, I didn't feel as very impactful image. So I ended up with a 3. So we have 11 for this one.
Okay.
Ready, set.
Okay. And get rid of some of these guys. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Great capture. Boy, wow, look at that bird. But that's about it. As a photograph of, I always look at a photograph like, boy, I'd like to print that. I mean, if it's a really good one, I bet that makes a gorgeous print. This, I don't feel that way about. And I think that the photographer could have been a little more careful, maybe got a different spot. Again, these do come and they go, and you've got a nanosecond to grab it, because this, like you said, this bird probably just took off right after this. But that branch is just a pain in the ass right there, that little branch in the foreground. And so it kind of wrecks the photograph. So, so if you're going to show, photographs of amazing birds and stuff, try not to have stuff in front of them unless it's more contextual, but this just kind of comes out of nowhere. So it kind of wrecked the photo. I think it could have had a lot more impact. And again, I think because you got this big blue sky back there, you might have tried a little deepening of the blue and then maybe just come back about a half a stop, because it also adds to it. Keep the shadow detail under the wings, but I think that, but you just can't get rid of that damn branch. That just sort of, there it is. So we have 4, 5, 3, giving us a 12. Great capture though. I mean, it's just like
Standing alone.
Okay, this one is a 3.54. 3, I just didn't feel like there was, I don't know, the right time to grab it. So it just, great shot of that bird, but it's not a great shot. Okay. And it's quite the bird. Was that blue heron maybe?
Are you looking at the same photo we're looking at?
We're looking at a picture of a tree standing alone.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, dude.
Number
But the heron.
number 11.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Sorry.
But that heron is really cool.
Thanks for the clarity. No, you're right. The way I'm doing this is like, okay. Anyway, standing alone. Okay, I get that a 12. I'm not sure why it's in this group. It appears to be a monoprint, albeit a brownish tint. And I did look at it at 100%, and it's nothing in focus. There's nothing really sharp on it, and I don't know why it wouldn't be sharp. So I could have used a lot more work in the sky. Don't know if it was a color capture and then we changed it over. Not sure, but just needs some help. And again, there's that border thing, but we'll ignore that for now. So that's it. That was 12.
Abandoned.
Okay. That is disturbing, but wonderful. Dolls are, I don't, there's a reason they make horror films out of them, but because they are stand-ins for us. This is a great shot. I don't know if it was set up or literally you came upon it in the forest, but this is a wonderful shot. I gave it a 20. The only thing I would do right up front was in technique, is that again, it's slightly overexposed. I found that when I took a slider to it and just reduced the overall exposure just a little bit, that hand came out and grabbed me by the throat. So you got to look at that kind of stuff. It's like it can really make and break a photo, really. And it happens in printing too, because if somebody doesn't have their printing marbles going, your print can go flat. But if you can keep good contrast and emphasis with tonal values all alone, you can make a pretty powerful piece. And again, you wouldn't want to do it so dark that you lose the corners, but you could come down about a half a stop and that hand comes right out at you looking for you. So I was very impressed with this nice piece of work.
Are you sure you dropped it here, Ethel?
Now there you go. There's our heron. Okay, sorry. Yeah, again, competent capture of the bird. I don't know how else you might crop it or compose the shot. I mean, I kind of like the diagonal, but overall, I just kind of, that would have been also. I also got a picture of this bird, but we're not going to make a print out of it. So I gave that an 11.
Cyclamen.
Cyclamen. Okay, let me get those puppies loaded up here. Cyclamen. Okay. What did I do for this one? 14. 6, very competently photographed. Good use of the macro. And but I think in post you could have made it better as far as working with the composition and so on. I love the red back there. You should have taken more advantage of that, maybe. But again, it's a great shot of a budding cyclamen, and I gave it a 14.
Okay.
Okay.
Iris.
Iris, come back, Iris. Where are you? Okay. What did I do on this one? 554, gave it a 14 overall. I felt like it just needed focus. It's just sort of there. So from the standpoint of, it's interesting. I mean, it's to catch it at this point in its life is pretty cool. I might, it sort of stands alone though. It's so removed from its environment that we sort of feel like it was, not that it was, but it feels like it's just laying on top. It's not a part of that environment. And I always find that, especially with florals, giving it a better context or maybe a more, maybe brightening some of those blades that are coming up around it. Could have improved it, I think, give it better context, but it was certainly well shot. I mean, so I'm giving a 14 on that.
Morning light on Eureka Dunes.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. That's up there. I gave it an 18. Obviously, very competently done. I love capturing the dune in the back. It's wonderful to stack that up. Gives it a great. Unless you just got a really bitchin' sky working for you, this is the next best thing, and it's pretty cool. Yeah, this is beautiful work. I really, the little bit of plant life right down there gives it some nice texture. Very, very well done shot. Very nice. I might have played with a little bit of color intensity, come and go with that, see where it takes you. A little bit. Might have been fun. Something to think about. It's a lot of people don't, want to try to keep it as natural as possible, and I'm cool with that too. But I always feel that a photograph is not a record; it's an impression. And so, if your impression was this amazing bluish gray in that background dune or something like that, I'd say bring it back. Make it what you thought it was. Kind of thing. Okay, so that was an 18.
Okay, this is Rancho Tepisque Spring.
Okay, that sort of falls in the Mirror Lake group. That's pretty. That's nice. But I, been there, done that, seen it. So I think, if you think it looks like it belongs on a postcard, you probably shouldn't take the shot. So I gave it an 11. Again, very well done. Fine camera, I'm sure. We got that sky, that was good. But I just, it just kind of, yeah, I don't find it to be outstanding. Put it that way.
Okay.
Room with a View.
Yeah, that was that's a very nice shot. 645 from me gives it a 15. It's very formal. It's an interesting thing, and kudos to capturing the exterior in the window. That's not easy to do. So technically, I gave it a 6 for sure. But again, I think you could have, from the standpoint of technique, brought a little more mood into this. That's just what I feel. But we got everything in there. We got almost the whole window, and then the reflections on the ceiling and the wall. Those are lovely. But I don't. It doesn't really, it's like well done, and we got a picture of that room. So let's move on. So that's sort of what I'm thinking there. Yeah.
Standing out.
Okay. All right. That's yeah, it was a good technical capture of the thing. I I don't have a lot of argument to that. I we could have got, I don't know. It's hard not being there, but it just seems like the cropping and the framing is fairly straight ahead. And I think, I don't know, it just seems like having that red guy there in the middle of that field, which is weird. I don't know how that happens, but I don't know. I think you could have taken more advantage of it somehow. Just like, yeah, standing out, like make that puppy stand out. It does because it's red, the rest are yellow and green. But you really could have, maybe done something even more with that. I don't know if it would have been in post or when you were framing it up, but it's fairly, from the standpoint of a composition, it's fairly standard. So I gave it a 13, 5.44.
The pollinator.
Alrighty, that little guy. Yeah, look at that. That's an amazing capture. So kudos. But it's just terribly overexposed. I just wish it had been nice and deep and yummy. So that I gave it a 3 on that. You gotta have a sense of and all of our eyes are different. My eyes actually suck, but I think you have to really be aware of that. You just got to do it. And if you pull this puppy down about a stop and a third, it becomes magic. Really, that green goes deep back there. That little bee pops off that page. It's just, you just got to really think about that and always look at that. But again, it's, so it's not a shocking picture. It's not something we haven't seen. It's a good capture, but just overexposed. So kind of wrecked it for me.
Score?
Score is 11.
Clouds and sea.
Okay. That's pretty much 4s across the board. I'm not sure. It's kind of one of those meditation shots. You kind of just meditating on the sea and the clouds. But I find it as more of a background kind of a thing. A lot of people are really like that kind of stuff. They can put it on their wall and feel very safe. But I need more, I think. So I just went 4s across. It was well done, happily done. I do notice it was kind of fun. There's a little seagull coming in the left side there, but not enough to make. He looks more like an accident than part of the picture. So that's kind of my thoughts on this.
Okay.
And what
Glass
is it?
ceiling.
12. Right. Okay. Let me get that puppy up in front of my stuff. Yeah, don't know what this is. Well, it's wild though. It's just so good capture. I don't, I'm not even sure how that happened, but appears to be like, I don't know, this is a shot from below looking up, I guess, maybe on a glass shelf. Don't know, but there it is. So that's a celebration of art glass. So I gave that a 6 right off the bat. Well done. good depth of field, capture all that stuff because you wouldn't want it to be that soft from this standpoint. And compositionally, it's kind of tells you what it ought to do. Is the blue ones in the middle. So from that standpoint, I'd say you might have been a little more creative with how you framed this. Don't know. I mean, there's a lot to get there because it's all fun. Look at all that stuff. But sort of a straight ahead framing, like, yeah, I got it all. Then, so from impact as a photo, it's a little above average for sure. But again, it is a lot of pretty glass, and so that's kind of what carries it, rather than inventive photography. So I gave that a 16.
Portrait of Eddie.
I don't know, for an art submission, this is a very small file, so I have to judge it based on that. I don't know if the person wants it to be a small print as well, but judging it on that, I don't really understand it. There's not enough strength that it carries for me. And then compositionally, I think that that sort of border down the right side is distracting. I'm not sure what that is. Obviously this is a cropped piece. Cameras don't shoot this rectangle, but all that going down the side, it looks like, I don't know, it's a frame on a window, exactly what it is, not sure. Anyway, so I was a little underwhelmed with this one. So I gave it a 3.43, which gives it a 10.
Reaching.
Yeah, it's spectacular. We got a number of people in the photo group that I belong to down here that are really getting into the celestial photography. This is a nice piece. Well done in that vein, especially when you start working with the foreground and so on. Very sharp capture of the sky. I give that an 18. That's a nice piece of work. In spite of the border around it.
Rose.
Okay, Rose by any other name. It's wet. Yeah, nice shot. Boy, well done. Got a good one there. I gave it a 16. So it's a good photograph. I found, with a lot of flowers, it's really hard to do something new. That's what I'm all about, right? So from that standpoint, it's a little pedestrian. Obviously, the water jazzes it up quite a bit, and there's wonderful detail in there. And so I think it's a fine photograph. I gave it a 16.
The landing.
Okay. I gave that a 4.34. Again, you got the bird. They're not easy to shoot, but beyond that, there's not a lot to bring home on this. Again, overexposed, and so I gave it an 11. It's a competent photograph, certainly. Is that a pigeon, maybe? And so that's kind of it, though. It's sort of like it's in limbo, so there's not a lot of context to it either. And the light's fairly flat, so.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, we have a
Okay,
tie.
we just have to break the tie between number 5 and number 6. Coastal Sunset and Len's Baby Rosebud. This will be for second and third.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Elaine, weren't there 3 19s?
There was only
Two.
two 19s.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. Wait, let me think. I'm going to go with Rosebud. I think it's a more, there was more creativity in that. In other words, you got to work with that and to make that image. The other one, you probably have to go back weeks and weeks to find that one too. But I don't know, just from that standpoint, I think the Lynn's Baby Rosebud was a more inventive photograph. And that's one of the things I look for.
Okay. And now for first and second honorable mention.
Do we, there's 2 honorable mentions. Do we put one ahead of the other, or they just?
We'll just call them, we can just call them both honorable mentions.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's usually
yeah.
the way that's
That's
done.
what I'm thinking.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we are ready.
Okay. All right.
This is A Day at the Canyonlands by Penny Powell.
What are we doing now?
Anna's Hummingbird by Tony Martindale. We're just announcing our images and who the maker was.
Oh, I see. Good.
This is Beak Deep by Frank Tromp. Butterfly by Ed E. Powell. Coastal Sunset and Third Place by Elaine Calvert.
Where you go, Elaine?
Thank you. Lynn's Baby Rosebud and Second Place by Chuck Euberly.
Yay, Chuck.
Good going, Chuck.
Thanks.
Mirror Lake Yosemite by Cheryl Decker. New York, New York by Gregory Doudna. Palms at Sunrise by Larry Decker. Ready Set by Jeannie Sparks. Standing Alone by Rosie Brancasio. Our First Place, Abandoned by Gregory Doudna.
Yay, Gregory.
Good going, Greg.
Great shot. Yeah.
Good job.
Are You Sure You Dropped It Here, Ethel by Jeannie Sparks. Cyclamen by Tony Martindale. Iris by Elaine Calvert. Morning Light on the Eureka Dunes and honorable mention by Penny Powell.
Nice image, Penny.
Yeah, very nice.
Very nice,
you.
Penny.
Rancho Tepisque Spring by Cheryl Decker. Room with a View by Chuck Euberly. Standing Out by Rosie Brancasio. The Pollinator by Frank Tromp. Clouds and Sea by Chuck Euberly. Glass Ceiling by Rosie Brancasio.
I love all the colors.
Portrait of Eddie by Penny Powell. Reaching, honorable mention by Jeannie Sparks.
Nice
Nice.
job.
Nice
Very
going.
nice job. Looks like you light painted that.
I did. I light painted the front log and the other tree.
Yeah.
Rose by Tony Martindale. and The Landing by Frank Tromp.
Okay, we'll move on to monochromes. We only have 8.
Somebody has music on, they should turn their microphone off.
That was me.
Okay, we're back to our first image.
Oh, boy.
The name of this is Ghost of the Forest.
Okay. I was looking at this. I gave it a 9. I found a number of problems with it. One, a little too much sky work, and so I was seeing a lot of that edging issues that we can have when we mess with the sky too much. I was also going, well, the subject of this is this amazing dead tree, but that tree disappears in the rest of the forest. So I want that tree to come forward because that's the guy that I'm looking for. So I thought compositionally and technically, I just wasn't quite doing it for me. I just, and then in the end, of course, it makes not a amazing photograph. It's just kind of there. It is sharp, but of course, everything is sharp, and that's part of the problem too, because I'm losing this tree in the rest of the forest. Not to say somebody can't make a photograph of a tree getting lost in the forest, but in this particular case, I think because we want it as our subject as one great big dead tree, and he just sort of blends in with the rest of them. So maybe needed to wait a little later in the day, just get better light. So that's kind of where I'm in with that one.
Louvre Pyramid number 3.
Okay. All right. This one, believe it or not, has, in my feeling, has an exposure problem. The whites, the highlights, and again, this is not the photographer's lighting, it's the Louvre's lighting, but you got to capture what it is. And I find that all the lit parts are just just way too hot. So possibly, this is a case of where maybe you need some HDR or something to balance that out a bit. But that was my biggest problem with it. Compositionally, it's fabulous. You can't avoid the big triangle pointing right at the middle of the photograph with the little triangle next to it. So that one I just think could have been a little subtler hand on that, and maybe not so hot in there. But that I also understand the issue, but that's the issue. So if you're going to make a shot at night of a lit building, you got to know what you're doing. You got to really nuance it. So that I gave it a 14 though. Yeah.
My image is better than your image.
Okay, that one, I gave it a 2 for technical reasons. One, I've got stuff in the sky that doesn't belong there. I'm not sure what that is. There's a texture in there. The people, the whole shot is way over sharpened. I've got halos everywhere. All the mountains have halos on them. And the people are just too strong. That said, it's a fabulous capture. What a great shot. What a great thing to capture. And it was funny. I was looking at it thinking, well, I wonder if a lot of people do that. So I went online, and there aren't a lot of pictures of people taking pictures of Yosemite Valley. And it's funny because they all got the cameras, you know, it's snowing, they're freezing to death. But just not a great capture at all. From the standpoint of processing the print. Yeah. So I gave it a 12. So there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, way overdone. Just too heavy on the sliders.
This title is Sculpted in Shimmering Sands.
Yes. That's a very nice piece of work. Boy, that's I'm guessing maybe the person that shot the color piece, but yeah, that's gorgeous. A beautiful print, I'm sure. This is dying to be printed. I love the background, the detail in the dark. We got that in the exposure and the shimmering sand. You just can't beat it. And to get there with no footprints, that's excellent. So I gave that a 19. Yeah. Yeah.
Steve Goff.
Okay. Come on. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now, this one, excellent capture. You got a lot of crazy light things going on in this one. I'm guessing it didn't just pop out of the camera like this. I'm not sure. So from that standpoint, and then yes, it's a architectural cropping that sort of presents itself. That was well done. Overall, though, from the standpoint of a startling photograph, it's not so much. It kind of looks like a commercial shoot, like this guy was doing his album cover. So I'm not sure. It might be a street player that just happened to be on this bridge, but anyway. So I gave it a 15. So
Checking her text messages.
Okay. Now, street photography is always a killer. One of the things I found that I gave it a few demerits is that she's our subject and she's soft. The sharp thing is the corner of that building, whatever it is, and I think that's not the way you're supposed to do it, unless there's a real good reason. And maybe you let the passerby pass by, or you catch them a little earlier. But right there, it just seemed awkward to me. It wasn't a great timing for that shot, and then she's actually is looking away as opposed to looking at her phone. But anyway, so I gave it a 3 from there. I think it could have been maybe a different frame from that shoot might have been, or from that capture might have been better if you snapped off a few and the guy in the background was in a different place. So I gave that a 13.
Lighthouse Steps.
Okay. Yeah, very, very competent photographer. From the, I love capturing the shadow, the window. That's great timing. But it's also terribly formal, which can quiet the impact of an image to me. I mean, we made sure that at the top we got all of the window light, and then we got the banister to the right, and everything set up on the square. So it's a little, I don't know, cropped too well. Does that make sense, or if that confuses you? But it's terribly formal. And I think it could have used a little more intrigue, mystery, what, I'm not sure. Maybe it just needs to be a little deeper so that those walls have more of a glow. That is the walls in the shadow, not the lit wall. So yeah, I think it could have done a little better on the execution at the end. So I gave that a 16.
Woman in window.
Fabulous. I love it. That's a great piece of photographic work. It's a montage is not easy. You can get lost in it, but I get lost in this because there's just such rich content. The balance, you know, the brights, the darks, where they are, where she is, how interesting she is. Yeah, I gave this 7s across the board. This is a nice piece of work, really nice piece of work.
Hold on a sec.
Sure.
Do I do an honorable mention?
We
So
don't have enough for the honorable mention, unfortunately. We have to have 10, so.
Okay, I
yeah.
just wanted to be sure. Okay, I'm ready. Ghost of the Forest by Gregory Doudna. Louvre Pyramid #3 by Jim McInnes.
You should have shown number 2, I mean.
Wait a minute. What?
What?
Louvre was 2.
It's very funny, Ed.
Somebody's
Yes, thank you.
My Image is Better Than Yours by Cheryl Decker.
I love the title.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sculpted in Shimmering Sands, 2nd place by Elaine Calvert.
Very nice, Elaine.
Nice one, Elaine.
Thanks tonight.
I love you can see all the grains of the sand.
Yeah, I
Did she
had
do
nice
the-
light that evening.
Did she do the other Dune shot in the color group?
What's that?
Actually,
That was
no.
Penny.
No, that was a different
Oh,
photographer.
This is Steve Koff by Ed E. Powell. Checking Her Text Messages by Jim McInnes. Lighthouse Steps in 3rd place by Ed E. Powell.
Love that, Ed. That's great.
Thank you, ma'am.
Woman in Window in 1st place by Jim McInnes.
Excellent piece,
Amazing.
Jim. Excellent.
Way to
Cool
go.
beans,
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah,
nice
thanks.
piece, Jim. That's gorgeous.
Oh, thanks.
But,
It's not a montage. It's a single image.
is it really?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Reflections in the.
She's behind a window.
Wow.
Wow.
That's even more extraordinary.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Right.
Cool catch. Wow.
Very nice.
Yeah. Yep. No,
I love it.
a lot. Man, that's great.
Wow.
Thank you.
Oh,
Oh, more.
wow.
Yeah.
We had a lot in the color category this month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bob, well, I really enjoyed the vast majority of your comments. I think you look at it more from a graphic arts point of view and publishing than as amateur photographers. We oftentimes get focused on, well, I think that's a neat subject, but we're not thinking about selling it or commercializing it.
Right.
So having your input was very valuable.
Yeah, because that's because regardless of whether you want to sell it or give it to your sister, it's just for me it's always, I imagine the thing as a print on a wall. What is the value of the image, and and if it is, like you say, something that you find terribly interesting, a critter or a plant or a street scene or something like that, you just gotta pull the guts out of it and make it even stronger. So that's kind of the way I look at it.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that you gave us comments on how to make them better. I think that's always, we always learn a lot from that.
Oh, I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Rosie, I owe you an apology. Did that tree, standalone tree image was a monochrome.
Yes, it was.
Ah, okay.
I looked at it on my screen and it was all this nice yellows and things, and I go, I should have double checked your entry card. Sorry.
Oh, shoot.
It's okay.
You can enter it again if you enter it again.
Yeah.
You can come by and spank me if you want.
You might like that too much.
The whole point.
You guys, this thing's being recorded.
Rosie, I'll help you.
Jim, are you going to be in your Iron Maiden with a cat of nine tails?
Yeah, that's it.
Him on the rack.
Oh, by the way, that doll, that was Jim McInnes's doll, and these gentlemen, we had a field trip and we put stuff in a park, and the men just really had a great time abusing the dolls.
Oh, the picture from the color group, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah.
We had what we called still lifes in the Napomo Native Garden, and we brought in all of these props and set up surreal images and took pictures.
Sure did.
And one of the ones that came off the best were the abused dolls.
Yes. Like I say, just an iconic emblem. Yeah. That's why they make horror movies out of dolls.
But we were getting very bored with COVID-19, so we had to go someplace where we could freewheel it and not be in public.
Yeah. Well, that was interesting because as Jim may or may not have mentioned, we used to be in a camera group up here together in Palos Verdes, and I'm still part of that group. In fact, I'm vice president. Lucky me this year. But I'm trying to light a fire under my members to get them to say, let's go out and do shit, let's go somewhere. I don't know,
Yeah.
to the zoo at feeding time. I don't know. But
you can feed the members to them.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm trying to light a fire under these cats, I mean, they said, well, maybe we could do it, when we're not going to have meetings, because we do a fourth Wednesday meeting, and so that sucks in November and December. So we just go dark and we just have 10 meetings the rest of the year.
Yeah.
So they're saying, well, we could do it then. I said, well, not everything is good in November and December. A lot of stuff is. The light is awesome in California, but
we've been talking about doing a field trip to the flea market.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see, how you guys are also active. You're doing something all the time.
Oh, we have several meetups in one form or another every month.
That's great.
We're very active. Yeah.
That's very cool. Very cool.
And we also.
We got two people from Redondo Beach here. Is that correct?
I'm Hermosa.
Okay, I thought somebody said
We're from
Redondo.
the beach cities. That's what we call the four towns
If
together.
either of you knew a fellow by the name of Vern Iskar of Redondo Beach.
No.
The last name Iskar ring a bell?
No, it would if I
Apparently
knew.
not. Okay, just curious.
But so it's the beach cities. We're about 5 miles south of the LA airport.
Hey, Bob, maybe you could try. We do a Saturday chat where right now it's virtual, but when we don't have to worry about viruses, we do it at a place, have breakfast, and then talk about photography. So it might be something.
Yeah.
And now we're doing it with WebEx.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
we do both. We have a breakfast and we have a virtual every month.
Right. We just started a physical breakfast.
Yeah.
And the
The
virtual
discussions are always really nice to have. I mean, it's a nice format, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
We
It's
share travel tips, our favorite photographers, that kind of stuff.
yeah, cool. Or books you've seen lately or
Yep.
something. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And just BS stuff too. So
Oh, there's that.
yeah.
And the club also has a end of the year project where we do books.
Right.
Well, this year our end of the year project is a book. It's not always, but
Well, we've
Have
done
the
it.
last
This will be
two.
this will be the. I'm sorry. This will be the third year in
Yeah.
a row, I think.
Yep.
oh, this might be the fourth year.
Maybe. Yeah, you're right. It could be the fourth
The
year.
fourth year, yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Before that, we had an interesting thing that we did also where we had an object and everybody had to photograph the same object. And we all got a week with that object and we could do whatever we wanted except, destroy it.
Yeah.
But and then at the end of the year, we all got to see what other photographers, how they photographed that object. It was really fun to see all the images at the end of the year.
Yeah, I like that. Those
I
are
mean,
good. Yeah.
really makes you have to think outside the box.
Yeah, we did a thing several years ago. I think Jim was still with us then, and
Is this Pata?
yeah,
Yeah.
we passed a camera around,
Oh yeah.
a film camera, about probably 5 or 6 years ago. I don't know, and it got passed around, and eventually somebody lost it. At the end of that project.
Or sad.
We did something like that too, as I remember, but nobody lost the camera.
Yeah, well, we lost the camera. We know nobody knows where the camera went. It's like, oh my God, what is that? But
What was it? What was it? A Hasselblad?
no, thank God. Some little old Mamiya or something. I think it was.
So was the thing that everyone was going to take a picture and then
but it was just
view them later?
a single photograph, and we were going to develop the film and see what we got.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, we should do that at
Fun
with our,
idea.
like potlucks.
Yeah, except do that with one of those Russian cameras, so if you lose it, you don't feel bad.
We could do it with a disposable camera.
Yeah,
Those disposable ones. I mean, and do they still make those though? They probably don't.
That's the
Yeah.
whole guy.
Have to find it somewhere. But,
Tony's got his, single point camera, whatever, his box camera he's made.
oh, point and shoot.
Point, well, no, Tony, what is the
Pinhole.
Pinhole.
What is it?
pinhole camera?
Oh,
Pinhole.
pinhole. Yeah. Well, that takes some skill, though. You got to know how to do that.
Well, then he make it worse. He makes us develop them in cyanotype.
Yeah.
Yeah, who's going to develop it? Yeah. Very,
He does his own.
Yeah.
So, Paul, if you live in Hermosa, you know Mike McIntyre, photographer down there?
no, I don't. No.
Okay. Yeah, he's a commercial photographer in Hermosa. I met him at a beach party at down in Redondo several years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's unusual because Hermosa has what, maybe 10 photographers?
Yeah, it's a pretty small area. I used to live on 8th Place.
Yeah. Yeah, we got a few, but yeah, I don't. There's a one guy down Manhattan, John Post.
Yeah.
He does. If you live at the beach and you want a picture of the beach cities or something, you got a John Post print. They're reasonably easy to buy, and he just came out with a book on the Manhattan Pier. But yeah, when I was catting around with the Redondo Beach Art Group, as Jim mentioned, and then later when I joined PATA, there's this trove of photographers. They're everywhere. I mean, you met another one of our friends,
Paul
Blyden,
and Bernard.
and we just have Bernard.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, did he judge
Yeah, he's a member.
of your outfit?
Yeah, he's judged and he's become a member.
Well, where the hell is he?
We don't know.
He's missing today.
He's missing in action.
Guys, are you aware of his photography for Liverpool?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Great stuff. Great stuff. I love that stuff.
Yeah, he's done a couple of presentations, both at the Saturday morning chat and then also at one of our program meetings.
Oh, very cool. So he drives up there and
No, it's
Oh, this is all virtual.
it's still virtual. Okay.
yeah. After we go live, he probably will drop out.
Yeah. It's a bit of a schlep.
Yeah.
Although I think we're thinking about keeping our virtual
Saturday.
Saturday chat, which would
Yeah.
allow him to join us still. And
Yeah, that's-
Dawn was with us in person, and then she moved away. But because we went virtual, she gets to join us again, which is nice.
Raise your hand. Raise your hand, Dawn. So see Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Very
she's
to
back
be
in.
here.
She's
That's
back on.
Minnesota. She left beautiful Napomo or Santa Maria for Minnesota of all places.
Go figure.
We've got to get to the airport, so nice seeing all you guys again.
Oh,
Back to town.
Oh,
that sounds exciting.
Right
Yeah.
out.
See you
We're gonna
guys.
take the red eye.
Okay, well, I enjoyed doing this for you guys. It was thank you for the honor of inviting me.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for giving
Thank
us
you
your
for judging.
time.
It was
Your
good. We enjoyed it. We
critique.
enjoyed
You
it.
did.
Yeah.
You're
Thank you
welcome to
very
do it
much,
anytime you
Bob.
like.
Okay. Okay.
Tell you what, you should give us a presentation of some of your work, your images.
I'd be happy to. I've got to put one together for my cats down here, showing them how I do my trickery. I'd be happy to share that with you guys sometime. Sure.
That would be
Oh, I would love
To
that.
me. That would be great, Bob. That would be really nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll practice on my guys, and then I'll get it squared away. And then I'll
Yeah,
let you
this is a brutal crowd, so
know. Exactly.
Yeah, you let Jim know when you're ready, and then we can make an arrangement for you.
Super. I like it. Tony, where are you from?
I was born in London, England.
Yeah, great. We were just there. When was that? 2 years ago?
Oh, by the way,
Locked down for nearly 2 years.
before I forgot to show something that I was.
Yeah.
So I'm going to share my screen right now.
Okay.
If I can find it.
Jim always has trouble finding it.
Yeah. Oh my God. What are you doing with that?
Let's see. It's not going any larger for some reason.
hit space bar.
I did, but it didn't go larger. So we'll look at it, and unfortunately, Photoshop will take a moment to launch.
Sometimes Bridge is a little slow when you hit the space bar. You have to give it a chance.
Yeah, that maybe.
It's thinking
Let's see.
about it.
I think Jim needs a new computer.
Is that in Bridge?
This is
You know,
great.
Jim,
There we
I
go.
got it. If you,
There we go.
Coming?
Do you see it now?
No?
No.
Okay, then hang on. Let me get back out of here.
I've got it, Jim. If you want me to show it.
Yeah, show it. I seem to be hung up.
Okay.
Nice shirt, Greg. Yeah.
Better?
Yeah.
That's my wedding picture.
Yeah.
This looks like it was just last month.
It was. Just, I've been dying it up to this point and just let it go. But that's my,
But you appear to have married a very beautiful woman. You lucky guy, you.
yeah, she's a sweetie.
Yeah.
you don't feel so happy, yeah?
Well, Astrid is also a very accomplished painter.
Oh, she's a great painter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I taught her how to shoot photography too. When we went to Africa in fall of 19, I took along my my D810, and then I brought along my what was the other one, the D7000, and so it's just sort of my backup camera if I drop the 810 in the lake or something like that. But she was sort of sitting there and just getting a little bored. I said, "Well, honey, you want to shoot with this guy?" I had a little 300 zoom lens on there, and we started taking pictures like a little bear. Shot 2,000 shots. Of course, I shot 6,000, but it was fun. She really enjoyed the hell out of it. But she's a much better painter than a photographer. But she doesn't suck. She's good.
That's good.
Yeah. So she just saw how much fun we were all having. I went with, I don't know if you guys know Karen Schuneman,
Mhm.
is a friend
do.
of Yeah, you do. She's a nature photographer and she does trips. So she put this package together. We went to Kenya and Masai Mara and other reserves, and it was a lot of fun. We had a great time. It was only like 8 of us.
You did the trip with Karen?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Was Karen, then they have a professional outfitter, of course, puts it together, but she makes the group and handles it that way. So it was great. Literally, you guys could do the same thing. It doesn't take, all you need is 6 people or more, and almost anybody will give you a custom trip. Anyway, but that was, so yeah, that's the deal. So yeah, if you want to see my stuff, it's bobfrancis.com, spelled like the Pope. And then if you want to see my wife's work, it's Astrid, ASTRID, Francis.com. And don't ask me how I nailed those mail boxes, but I did. So, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Okay, y'all.
Thanks for doing a great job.
Oh, thanks very much. I really enjoyed doing it, meeting all you guys, and we'll stay in touch.
Okay, Bob.
Good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye, Bob.
Okay, I'm turning off recording.
Oh, good.